And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Whew, a little nervous. Okay, I have two questions. One of them is about spiritual realization, and the other one is about finding my soulmates and the compatibility with the other question.
Can you hear?
Now? So I can repeat that? So I have two questions. One of them is about spiritual realization, and it's sort of related to what the other guy was talking about, soul flight. And the second question is about finding my soulmate and whether those two things can be compatible.
They have to be.
Okay.
We're going to just jump in briefly by saying we really like the term that you presented here of spiritual realization, because we've been talking a lot lately about turning thoughts to things and how what's in your vortex comes into your realization when you prepare your vibrational atmosphere to allow it. And so spiritual realization is just that. It's tuning yourself to the frequency of that broader perspective of what's in your vortex, of what you've already created, of all that you have become, and therefore allowing yourself to be the realizer of it, the interpreter of it, the receiver of it, to receive the inspiration or the impulse. That's what that is.
Okay. What I intend by spiritual realization is I want to experience my fullest potential as soul and rise above body and mind. And
do you believe that your soul, your source, your inner being is already there?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you want to blend with that.
I want to be aware of that. I want to be fully consciously aware of that and everything that Abraham is aware of and what Jesus was aware of and what Buddha was aware of.
How do you propose to
do that?
Get there?
Through meditation.
Well, meditation is an effective tool because you quiet your mind and therefore you stop thought and therefore you stop resistant thought and therefore you're offering no resistance and therefore you're right there. But we would far rather see you in a moment of appreciation or in a moment of love or passion than in meditation, because whether you're meditating or whether you're appreciating, there's still no resistance. And when you're appreciating, you're fully present. You are allowing Source to realize with you right here, right now. That's the ultimate realization, you see.
Okay. Well, when I'm doing that, I'm appreciating and I'm fully in the here and now and I'm loving here and now and I'm fully in the here and now. And that's great while here on the physical plane. But what about if I want to experience non-physical and...
But this is the thing where humans get all misunderstanding about what it's like. What you just said is, I want to accomplish this spiritual realization so I can get out of here and...
Temporarily.
Nice clarification. And then do what Spirit is doing. And we want you to understand that what Spirit is doing is here with you. This is the leading edge of thought. We're not floating around as nebulous mists, thinking about things that are not specific. We're here with you on the leading edge. So if you want to be where Source is, focus here where Source is. But focus through the eyes of Source, not through a disconnected version of Source. That's good to know, isn't it? And it is a departure from what so many humans misunderstandingly explain.
My understanding is also, well, I thought that there's higher states of consciousness which are far more blissful and enjoyable than, although this can be pretty good here, but, you know, there's better.
The reason that you're stating your distorted point of view is because you have not yet allowed yourself to be in that vibrational place to experience this time-space reality from that broader point of view. So when you hear of others who have been living it, you assume they must be somewhere else. They're not somewhere else. They're just in a different frequency.
Right.
Make your statement again, because they were perfect words.
Well, my initial question?
What you just said, I assume that.
Yeah, I assume that there is higher states of consciousness.
All right, so stop there. There are higher states of consciousness, meaning vibrations that hold less resistance. Higher states of allowing. But now, for just a moment, don't make it have to be somewhere else. Say those words about those who are living here and now. Say those about the artist who is painting or the musician who is receiving. Say that about the scientist who is knowing. Or say that about Esther who is receiving infinite intelligence. In other words, don't make it have to be on another plane in another world. This is where it's at. It's hard for you. You've practiced humility to a fault. Humans, you just can't believe that this is where heaven is, because in your misalignment, you disallow it. You see. Read everything you've ever read from everyone about that through this framework and feel the power of this. Your carefully chosen and really beautiful words, just tweak it in that small way, that what you're talking about is not a different place. It's a different vibrational attitude in this place.
Okay.
But in order to understand that, you have to get it, that this is the leading edge. You have to understand that manifestations are happening here because this is the leading edge. Source is right here, but your part matters. It's important. You're not lesser than trying to figure out how to achieve that exaltation or that alignment or that worthiness or that. It's
merging,
here.
Merging with my source.
Source is flowing to you. You are the one who must mold the thought by caring about the emotion in order to allow the merging. The best example we just gave you before segment of refreshment of Esther down at the gate, completely merged with source and experiencing a point of view of very familiar environment and having an extraordinary experience in her enhanced state of alignment. She didn't have to go to an altered state. She didn't have to be unconscious. She didn't have to have an out-of-body experience. She didn't have to die and go to heaven because there is no place to go. It's consciousness focused here.
Well, just as an example, you talked about flying, soul flights, and that you guys always fly. You don't walk. We can't fly here, but what if I want to fly? What if I want to fly, have soul flights? I want to experience what Abraham experiences and know my past lives, know just experience the more that I can experience.
Well, the thing about source, we have the advantage of focusing wherever. If we really want to see something, we look through the eyes of a fly. Those are really good eyes. If we want to soar, we look through the experience of the bird. Esther was with friends lying on blankets on the beautiful grass at one of her houses the other day, and they were at a high altitude and looking at the sky, and there were 4 of them, and 4 hawks came and circled for almost the entire time that they were there, and they're just lying on the grass and looking up, soaring with the birds, their consciousness moving with them, you see. You can. Anything that the source within you is doing, in your blended consciousness, you can do it too. But you're more likely to accomplish that if you accept that source is here with you rather than you have to go somewhere else to find source. Mm-hmm. That's the point that we're wanting to make with you. Don't go somewhere else. Source is always where you are. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you've got your dial set on 98 and your source is set on 97. Don't worry about the frequencies. And so you're just not lining up.
So how can I line up more, so I can open myself up to that awareness?
By caring about how you feel, mm-hmm. and by catching the momentum earlier when you're not feeling good, by no longer speaking about limitations of the physical, but expecting that everything that is desired can be experienced, by understanding that when you request something, no matter what it is, that the larger part of you receives it and becomes it. And when you become a vibrational match to that, you'll have the experience of it. And we are not discouraging you from flight, from night flight, from out of body. We're not discouraging any of that. We just want you to know, if you knew how much you wanted to be in these bodies, you would focus and relish your perspective from here. And the only thing that keeps you from doing that is you're focusing at a vibration that distorts the true view.
Okay.
We love the word blending. It was a word we used early on in our interaction with all of you. Blending meaning allowing yourself to be that pure extension of the source that you really are. But you came intending to deviate from that just a little bit in order to ask for that which is more. In other words, if you are an exact, hear this, it matters, vibrational replica of the source within you, then there's no real point in you being here in this leading edge expanding journey. You said, I'll go with all that I am and I'll reach to places that are new, which means I haven't discovered the vibration of them. They will be new to me to experience. And in that subtle, you never experienced it to be stark contrast, I will come to new awarenesses of desire. I will take my desire to places that it has never been, to places that the desire of source has never been, because I'm unique in my experience. And as you launch those rockets of desire, source revels in the new desire that you have carved out of this time-space reality. And for a little while, there is a deviation, there is a departure, there is a difference in what source has now become as a result of your exploration and what you have allowed yourself to be. But now, you've launched the rocket. That was the step one. Source has become it. That was the step two. Now, you care about how you feel. You bring yourself generally and gradually into vibrational alignment with it until you are now the full realizer of that, you see. The human experience, can you imagine what it will be when you are that more consistently blended being, where life causes you to ask, and because of your knowledge of how this works, you immediately, by finding the general vibration that feels so good, that is unconditional, alignment with this new idea that you've just launched, and come into almost immediate vibrational alignment with it. True unconditional living, unconditional loving, unconditional approach to life experience would cause you to be someone who, as soon as you launch it, you are there with it. That's that immediate or instant manifestation that so many of you are craving, you see. It can be yours. Aren't you noticing the gap between your asking and your receiving is getting shorter and shorter on some subjects, you see? And so when you begin living real time in that way, through that trusting of who you are, when you really are blended so that you are not speaking of yourself in separate terms, when you acknowledge who you really are, the masterful creator that you were born to be, and you practice it until you are confident in knowing that that's who you are, so that you say, things always work out for me. Things always work out for me. Amazing things are happening. People are around Esther saying, that is just remarkable. And Esther will say, it's actually pretty normal. I say, you must be living right. And she said, I am today. I am today. Not every day. Today. I am today. She's aware when she is and when she isn't, when she is and when she isn't, when she is and when she isn't. Because she's aware of when she is and when she isn't, she strives to be it more when she is, when she is, when she is. But sometimes, in other words, no big deal. You know what to do. Just go more general. Get more aligned. Easy. Easy to be blended. Weird not to be. Natural to be blended. Distorted not to be.
Okay.
You all talk like it's remarkable. Just remarkable. I've been dragging my way through life, and then I had that remarkable moment of alignment. I think I'll write a book about that remarkable moment of alignment. Not remarkable. It's freaky that it's not always that way for you.